Hi everyone, thanks for joining us this morning. Let me just pull in my chair. I'm out of breath just from running down the stairs. Thanks for joining us for this morning. It's Facebook Live. It's going to be a Macmillen, well, it's not technically a Macmillen coffee morning, is it? Because I only decided to do it yesterday. Last minute, spur of the moment thing. I thought, actually, yeah, we should do something for it. It hadn't occurred to me that I should just really do a Facebook Live, so that's what we're going to do. Those of you that saw me do a bit of a quick Facebook Live yesterday will have probably seen me say, oh yeah, it depends, what I'm making will depend on how much time I get to prep, and I planned on baking, and by the time we finished last night's Facebook class I didn't get around to baking anything other than cooking a tin of Heinz chicken soup for my tea. That's about as much as I managed to get done last night. I was tired, so apologies guys. My plan was a pug in a mug, so we'll see. And since it's a coffee morning, look, I thought I'd look like I'm a bit more grown up for once and have my cup. I bought myself a cup that I've never used. In fact, it's probably full of dirt. It's got water in it. I don't drink tea coffee. Well, I probably can't show you it because I'll tip it up. It's got water in it.
Oh, hang on,
but this is the first time it's been out of the cupboard.
I can change the camera over, can't I?
Oh yeah, it's got my water.
There you go.
In.
So teacup with water.
I feel more grown up though.
You're just going to continue to drink water out of teacups now?
I would drink that way too fast. I guess you're a lot of water. Yeah, it would need to be a giant sized teacup for me to drink water out of it all the time. So I did kind of prep little bits last night, but not a lot. I started making a little teacup, but it's a bit uneven because I really didn't spend very long doing it at all. But that was the plan for today, was to try and make something. It hasn't even got a saucer that matches. Look, about 20 minutes ago I was like, well, I'll start trying to make a little saucer. No, it doesn't quite work. It doesn't actually fit. I didn't plan that out very well at all. I was looking for things that might fit in. That saucer can maybe be used for something else instead. It's fine. So yeah, I thought we'd have a go at a bit of a teacup, decorating a teacup. I did need to obviously start one in advance because it needed to set. For this I used the Renshaw's flour and modelling paste. Oh, as well, I'm starting to tell you too much about what we're making before I've actually run through about the coffee morning. Are you guys all doing Macmillen coffee mornings? I don't know who is and who isn't. Like, are you allowed, I presume, are you allowed to do them or not?
No, I think they're all classed as virtual coffee mornings.
Virtual coffee mornings.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if I'm part of anyone's coffee morning, I'm sure I'm probably not. Then hi, thanks for having me at your coffee morning. Like I say, quite often I get asked to make cakes that people can give out at the coffee mornings or like raffle at coffee mornings, and obviously this time I didn't do any of that, so I apologise that I haven't been giving away free cakes this year.
There is a banner below you at the moment.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Down here.
Down here, yes.
Somewhere. Yeah, so the plan was that you can do a donate button, so throughout the video at any point if you want to donate to Macmillen Coffee Morning for Macmillen, which is for the Macmillen nurses, isn't it, that the money goes to, that you could press the donate button, only we couldn't work out how you do it.
No.
Everything we plan never ends up working out quite as we plan it. But I know that people can send us stars, so what's happened in previous videos, Facebook Lives, is that people sometimes send us stars. And thank you to everybody that does send us stars, by the way. So we thought that if you wanted to send us stars in this one, what we'd do is we'd give the money from all the stars to the Macmillen charity.
And we'll match as well.
And we'll match it. So however much we make in stars, we will match and send that as well to them. So that's the plan for this morning. You don't have to donate if you don't want to. It's entirely up to you. But obviously we appreciate it if you do, and it goes towards a good cause. So
You've got another banner down there now.
Have I? What was the one down there saying?
It now says all stars received today will be matched and donated.
Oh, thank you, Richard. Yeah. How do you run a coffee morning when there's no one here?
People just talk to people, have a conversation.
Is that what happens?
So
I don't even know what happens at coffee mornings.
People can talk to Zoe and I'll just relay the conversation as Zoe's making things.
Yeah.
And what we'll do is if you've got any questions, obviously, while Zoe's making...
I don't attend coffee mornings because with me not drinking coffee, people would make fun of me, I think, if I sat with a teacup on my teacup of water at a coffee morning. People always go, should we go for coffee? And I'm like, I don't drink coffee. I'll go for a cake instead.
Lisa likes your top.
Likes my what?
Blouse.
Thanks. I put it on and then realised it has a stain on it. Actually, I don't know, because obvious now. This morning it had I think it's actually some cake decorating stuff. I had green powder stuck on it, which I think must be from my cake decorating thing. This is a cheap top from New Look. I bought it about 5 years ago, and I think this is about the second time I've worn it. But thank you. I didn't have time to do anything with my hair again though. But you know that I never do anything with my hair, so it's fine. Yeah, so feel free to just chat away. Obviously I can't see what you're saying, but hopefully Richard will
I'll pay attention. I'll try and pay attention.
Yeah, Richard just sits there reading the comments going, and when I go, what are you laughing at? He's like, oh, just things people are putting, but he doesn't tell me what people are putting, so I'm always kept out of the loop. So let's start with our teacup.
Right, you're going your top down now. I mean, top down camera.
Okay. I've got a 7cm polystyrene ball because I needed something to be able to mould it on. Oh, I practiced making a pug earlier. It was supposed to be cute, but it's pretty ugly. And also it's stuck to the table. Never mind. We'll sort the ugly pug out later. So I don't want a full-size one. Originally I was thinking, oh, I'll do really tiny ones and I'll see if I can do them in chocolate and then I'll fill them with like mousse or cake or something. But that was just way too advanced for me when I didn't have any time to prep for it. So it's just a topper. So any size ball really, but I went for 7cm. Okay, I think Emily will put links up again. So like Emily normally puts links up to everything that we've used, so she'll do that today. I am going to move this ugly pug face out of the way because I'm going to end up squashing it anyway when I'm doing stuff. I should really move my teacup. It's not necessary, is it, the teacup? I really just wanted to get out of the cupboard because I've never used it before. I bought it in the sale as well. Should have been £22. I don't think you can see it, can you? Should have been £22 and I think it was 10. I didn't realise that's how much like teacups cost. Okay, any piece of polystyrene. This is just one of my old scrap dummies. You can tell by how many holes it's had in it. And I'm just going to put a cocktail stick in and I'm going to pierce my ball onto there. Just so that it doesn't roll about when I'm working on it. Oh, I need to choke. I'm going to have some on my water again. Tickle in the back of my throat. Okay. It has to set hard, so you can either use like a gum paste, so flour paste, or pastelage. I'm not using pastelage today just because I buy the powdered stuff and then you have to mix water in and it gets a bit messy, like when I'm on camera. Although it is really good, like the pastelage sets really, really hard, but you do need to work really quickly with it. So we're gonna go for flour paste, and I like this one. So I'm not using the Saracino for this.
Does it come in IKEA bags, this one?
No, I'd opened it last night and put it in my scruffy IKEA bag. You can see, and it doesn't come in like this. These are pieces that I used earlier and then shoved back on the block. So that's the flour and modelling one. So not the one that's just modelling, but the flour and modelling one. In fact, I'll get Emily to put up a link for this anyway. So Renshaw's flour and modelling because it sets really hard. Those of you guys that use it anyway for, oh look, that bit's a bit dirty, I'll use a fresh bit, that actually use it for your models, because you can use it for modelling, will know how hard it sets, which is great. Like, it is really good that it sets hard, but it means you have to work pretty quickly with it, otherwise it cracks, or it can crack. I'm probably not going to need quite as much as that, to be honest. So this one I'm making now won't set in time for today. That's why I wanted to have a go at making one yesterday, but I should have spent longer working on trimming the edge nice and neat.
We can do that today, can't we? We can make today's nice and neat.
Well, we can try.
You could even use your metal palette to add a little gold rim to it, can't you?
I was thinking that. I was thinking, I was going to draw a pattern on with pens, and then I was like, do I want something a bit more subtle, like maybe like pale pink but dusted on? I could have airbrushed on really, but I haven't got the airbrush and stuff out, so it'll be dusted on. And then I thought, like, sometimes you get little cups with like little animal faces on, which is quite cute, you know, like cartoony ones, which I thought might be quite cute, but I don't know, we'll see. So just like all the other pastes, you have to knead it before you start working with it. Is anybody having a coffee morning this morning then?
I've got no coffee in front of me, which is very unusual.
Yeah, Richard has about 10 coffees before lunchtime.
That's on a bad day.
Starbucks do very well out of Richard. He bought himself a fancy coffee machine for him to have. He bought himself a fancy one for at work and a fancy one for at home, an espresso, don't you, Richard?
Yes.
And he goes to buy his coffee from the sweet shop opposite, which is it's a really nice little sweet shop, where he uses the exact same machine and the same coffee that Richard uses, but Richard likes to go buy it from the sweet shop instead of making his own.
It's only when I've run out of coffee here.
Oh, okay.
I'm not that bad.
Well, you also like to go get one from the Greenhouse Cafe as well, don't you, down the road? I think Richard just likes walking out for his coffee, I think. He likes to just be out of the shop. Okay, so we're going to roll this out. The thinner it is, the nicer it's going to look, but obviously the more fragile it's going to be. The quicker it's going to set though if it's thinner. When I'm rolling, did you see I put corn flour down? That was corn flour I used rather than icing sugar. You can use icing sugar. I just prefer corn flour. I feel like it's finer than icing sugar. And I can rub it off easier, whereas sometimes the icing sugar gets a bit grainy and stuck in what I'm doing. Also, can you see I turn it around a lot because when I'm rolling, I'm heavier-handed on one side than the other. And I know that it never comes out even. You can actually just buy rolling guides that go on your rolling pin that do it even for you. I've never bothered with them. Okay, so if it feels tacky, put some corn flour on your polystyrene ball. This actually doesn't feel too tacky, so it's not too bad. There you are, Richard. Can you not even see what I'm doing?
Well, it's more when you bring the polystyrene.
Okay. I tried to, when I put it on, it's got a seam halfway around. Not all the polystyrene balls do. We have like loads of these polystyrene balls, but each one looks slightly different, like in the texture of the polystyrene and whether it's got a line that runs around the middle or not. But I thought the line around the middle would help me a little bit. So it's bigger than it needs to be as this piece of paste, but that's fine because quite often when I'm pulling it round, I get little creases. So if it's really big, the creases will go further down and I'll cut them off anyway. Then I'm not having to worry too much about pressing them out. Okay. Now, when we cut, I need to cut about halfway down the ball. If I cut further down than halfway, it will be too tight and I won't get the polystyrene ball out because it will have curved back round holding it in. If that makes sense. It looks like a little ghost. If I put a little face on it.
Yes, they're like the ghosts from Pac-Man. They're quite circular, aren't they?
Yeah.
There you go, you've all been taught to make the ghosts from Pac-Man already.
And just check your knife is nice and sharp. And then what I tend to do is rather than going where I think it needs to be, I'll cut a little bit further down first just to remove some paste. Because I guarantee I always cut off more than I think I have anyway. So we'll start with just a small bit off the bottom. And let me just put this bit back in the bag because... Where's my bag? Oh, right. If not, it will go dry. So this paste is really good, but it's difficult to keep it airtight and stop it from drying out. So what I usually do is if I've opened a pack and I haven't used it all, like it does still keep, but it does start to harden more than like the Saracino would. So I usually make any spare bits and pieces with it that I think I might need in the future, like rosebuds and stuff. I'll just make a load of them with it, just so that I don't waste the paste. Oh, that's our boiler going off that you can hear. The paste...
I forgot to turn the heating off.
Ah, right. The paste very quickly clogs up your knife. You shouldn't really take it off with your fingers at all.
Yeah, Zoe has cut her hands numerous times.
I should have really just brought a cloth that I could wipe it on. But the modelling paste really clings to the blade. I'm telling you not to do this and I'm still doing it, aren't I? Which is really bad. Okay. So, you can pull the ball out a little bit to see roughly what kind of shape it's going to give you. So I think I actually will get away with cutting not too much more off than that. Now you can keep hold of it on your hand if you prefer, or you can do it on here. Okay, so whichever's going to be easiest for you.
I'm just going to change cameras because you're out of...
Oops, there goes my bag of bits. Okay. So I'm actually not going to cut too much more off. So can you see, even though I said, oh, cut further down than you need to be, now when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, oh, actually, yeah, I've cut off more than I thought. So I'm just trying to... Have I got it in shot or not? Put some more on.
Yeah, you're fine there.
I'm going to keep lifting it and trying to rub my finger along the edges that I've cut, because it can end up a little bit untidy, can that line? I'm holding it very gently as well, otherwise I'll put fingerprints in. I'm just going to try re-cleaning. Let's see if I can just wipe it off on some paste that I've got over here. Because it so quickly clogs up, does that knife. Okay. And I always think it looks like I've cut it even, and then we pull it off, and no, it's not at all.
So I'm sure there's a market for wonky teacups somewhere.
Yeah. But I can feel like the edge is going crispy already because it just sets so quickly. I'll just have another little look at that. Yeah, can you see how... So you can take it off and you can play with it, but I am having to be very careful because it's still... While it is starting to set, it's still soft. You can try with different pastes, but what you're going to find is like some of the pastes don't firm up enough to hold this kind of shape. So that's why you want something like a flour paste, gum paste, pastelage that sets rock hard. What do you reckon? Really bumpy? Or not too bad? I'm going to leave it. Let's pop it back on there. Just make sure it looks like it's pressed in the same amount all the way around. Don't worry if there is a tiny bit of a gap just at that edge, because it will just come off easier. If you can't get it off your polystyrene at this point, you will need to pull it off and then put more corn flour on and have another go with it. Okay. So pinning it onto there just stops it rolling about while it's drying. It's not the neatest, is it still? I'm not known for neatness. Sorry, guys. Okay, yeah, I'm going to leave it for now. Does it look a bit bigger than that one? I think I've rolled it out slightly thicker. Not by much, but can you see where I didn't spend the time kind of catching that edge? You can sometimes just rub it down a little bit. Is anyone having any conversations that I'm missing, Richard?
Nobody's watching.
Nobody's watching?
Yeah, well, no, I said everybody's watching.
Oh, I thought you said nobody's watching.
A few people are drinking, not necessarily tea or coffee. Joy's, well, obviously it's late night in Australia. So
Right.
Joy's enjoying a glass of wine while she's watching,
Very
so
nice.
different type of glass, cup. Well, I'm hoping you're not drinking your wine out of a teacup anyway. Well, each into their own, some people may like.
What was it I was listening to on the radio? Was it Chris Evans that was on yesterday? And they're on about champagne. He had a guest on the radio and they're on about champagne and how it's ridiculous that people drink it in champagne flutes, because actually it was found that the best way or something to drink it was in a normal glass or normal cup or something.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think they actually said coffee cup.
I don't actually like champagne.
No, I don't. And they were saying, well, the whole point of champagne is just that you think it's better because it's in a champagne glass. And that's the whole point of it, and that nobody would want to drink it if it was just in a normal glass. I think that's what they were saying. I only partially listen to the radio when it's on.
Jennifer has asked, could you use the inside of a teacup to mould your teacup with?
Yeah, you can do. So you can put things inside. I mean, you can put this inside. Because when I was doing it, I was thinking, oh, should I put it inside a teacup or should I put it over my polystyrene? For when it's dry, it's easier for me to remove it if it's on the outside usually than if it's inside something. But I have done it inside things before. So usually when I'm doing like a teacup, I'll just pick up the saucer. I'll just like corn flour the saucer and lay it in the saucer. I just couldn't find any saucers small enough for this though, which was my main problem with this one. But yeah, you can do. It's absolutely fine too. You just really want to make sure that it's not going to stick to it. Is this more teacup shape than coffee cup? It is, isn't it? I don't understand why there's a different shaped cups for coffee and tea. Is there a reason for that?
Say it again.
Why you get different shaped cups, don't you, for coffee and tea? Like you wouldn't say that cup
Yeah,
that I've
well,
got
they
is
always
a
say,
coffee cup, would you?
I think Tina's supposed to be drunk out of, like, is it bone china?
I don't
Or
know.
fine china or something. It's supposed to make it taste better. I don't know. I don't really drink much tea.
I like a nice Disney mug.
There you go.
I have hot chocolate.
You do have hot chocolate.
There we go. I get
And there's
to use
always
the
a
cups
debate
then.
where obviously some people, I mean, if I do drink tea, I like strong tea, so it has to be basically brown, not the golden yellowy sort of tea.
Why don't you just drink black tea?
I don't know. Then some people, most people, well, to me, it's normal to put your tea bag in, then your water in, let it stew, then add a bit of milk. Some people put a tea bag in, then the milk in first, then the water, or they put the water in first, then the tea bag in. Lots of people do it in different ways, and there's quite a lot of...
Oh wait, I need that back out there just quickly. I don't like making tea coffee for people because everybody likes it so different. Apparently I'm really rubbish at making tea and coffee. Some of my students are polite enough to say, no, that was a lovely cup of tea or coffee, Zoe, and sometimes they wait for you, don't they? Do you remember we did a class once and I made everybody tea and coffee first thing in the morning? And then I kept saying, does anyone want another tea or coffee? And everyone was like, no, we're good, thanks. Which is quite unusual because normally people drink a lot of tea and coffee, don't they, in the classes. And then Richard came down and said, like literally 2 minutes after I'd offered, and said, does anyone want a tea or coffee? And everybody went, yeah, we're gasping. Nobody obviously wanted me to make it. We're going to put a little bit on the bottom. So This you would need to set. In fact, let's put the handle on it. I'm forgetting the handle.
Just a quick one.
Yes.
Could you sand the edges of your teacup with fine sandpaper if you'd wanted to?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Because, I mean, you're not going to eat this anyway, are you? So, yeah, if you're very careful, you could just rub it. This one, although it has started to set, I can feel that it's not fully set. So when I'm holding it, I'm being very careful. So I'd probably give it a couple of days and then give it a rub down. If you're making a few, I would probably have a few different polystyrene balls on the go, because I hate waiting for one to dry and then making another one, so it'd be easier for me to just do them all at the same time. But yeah, what I planned was getting, you know, the sphere moulds, like the silicone moulds. I wanted to put chocolate in and do like chocolate teacups, but I can't find where I've put the silicone mould. And then I thought you guys would be watching for ages if I'm doing chocolate ones. Ages and ages, because I'm pretty slow with chocolate. How long did it take me to do the chocolate hearts in that Facebook Live?
You weren't that... about an hour and a half. We did quite a few varieties.
Yeah, but I thought the teacups would probably take even longer. Okay, so we're just going to take a small piece and we're going to roll it out. I'm going to have a look at how thick it looks, because I don't want my handle to be ridiculously thick, otherwise the weight of it will be too much. I'm going to flatten it down slightly, I think. Just a little bit, not too much. One end will go against my cup, so like the top bit. And then it's going to come round and I'm going to curl the bottom bit. This might be a bit too big, so I might have to cut a little bit off. And I'm going to have it almost like a question mark kind of shape. Can you guys see on that one? That one's a bit smaller than this one. I'm going to take some off this. Yeah? So I'm just going to cut a tiny bit off the end of this. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe I've cut too much off. We'll see. Where's everybody watching from today? Where's my water brush?
I'm seeing a few people from Australia. To be fair, I recognise a lot of the names. I think we've got a lot of our regulars, so thank you.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you to anyone that is donating stars, by the way. We're going to be giving that to Macmillen Cancer. Okay, so we're going to curl the bottom end. I've put a bit of water under it. Can you see it first? Then we curled it. Then on this end, it's going to be on this side. Plenty of water. You can use edible glue or even royal icing if you want. Then what I'm going to do is press it firmly onto my cup. You will have to press pretty firmly, otherwise it'll come off. Then we're going to need some water on the back of this bit as well. And we're going to then press this onto here too. Try and keep it near the top of your cup, which when it's upside down is close to this edge here. Then I need to have a look. Can you see from the side? I wasn't looking from that way.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can see from the camera
wonky.
It does not look straight, that.
So yeah, check it from a few different angles, otherwise it'll be very wonky like mine.
Well, there you go. I can read you off a few locations now.
Yeah.
I've actually got somebody in Leeds. There you go. I don't think I've ever seen anyone say they're from Leeds watching us. That's good.
Who is it? Is it somebody we know?
I won't read out the full name because that's probably not right. Although there's loads coming in now. Haley. We've got a Haley from Leeds.
Hey Haley.
Well, it's amazing how many people...
I won't know if I know somebody when you don't read me out the full name, but that's fine.
I don't think we're allowed to.
I'm pretty sure everybody else can read the person's name, Richard.
Right, well, okay. We've got Nottingham, we've got Australia, Margate, East Yorkshire, California, South Wales,
Thank you,
Edinburgh.
everyone.
I'm not reading them all out. Walney Island, I do not know where
where's that?
I do not know. South Africa.
Right, okay. Seeing if my handle still looks a bit wonky, doesn't it? I am still listening to you.
Near Stonehenge. Yeah.
Oh, I drove past there the other day.
This is quite
nice.
Not
the other day, a while ago.
Jo donated 2 of her basic figures from Macmillen Coffee Morning Cake.
Oh, that's nice.
That's
is that
good.
Joe that we know, Joe? Different Joe. I know more than one Joe.
I don't know which Joe you know. Singapore. We've got lots of...
Oh, fantastic.
Wow, we've got loads. Too many to read out now.
Right, okay. So, hi everyone. Wherever you're watching from. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so that's on there. Just keep an eye on it. Just check that it hasn't kind of flopped, because sometimes it can flop a little bit. And if you don't catch it when it's happened straight away, it'll set in that shape that you don't want. So, hopefully it'll be okay. You guys are going to have to remind me now to actually keep an eye on it in case it does happen. Then once it's set, you can take it off. I tried doing a little teacup earlier, but then all I did was rest a circle inside one of my cookie cutters. It's got a little bit of a mark underneath it. And then I thought, oh, I'll put the teacup in it, but it's quite curved. But then I remember that actually your teacup usually has something on the bottom. So can you see, like, this one's got something on the bottom anyway? Can you see it on there?
Yeah.
I don't know if they all do. I'll have another drink on here. Sorry, you guys, like awful noise for you guys to listen to me drinking. But this little bit around here. You don't have to have that bit on, but maybe it will make it fit in the little saucer. The saucer hasn't dried at all yet, guys, so I literally made that 2 minutes before we came on. We can either do a little disc that just goes on the bottom or like a snake shape. Let's try a disc first and then we'll see which one's going to work. You guys, I guess it's not nice for you when I don't get it right straight away, I know, and you have to see all my different workings out. But at the same time, it means you can see how I would normally go about doing things. Like when things don't work, I guess my kind of thought process. Because I'm thinking, yeah, that would go on, but is it going to look right? It might go on okay. Because when I let it dry, I've got a flat bit there, but it doesn't sit straight. I don't know if you can see on there, it tilts to one side. So I'd need to straighten it up and make sure that went in the middle. Does it show on the camera there?
I might change the angle in a minute.
Can you see it though or not?
Yeah, you can see it.
It's because you've gone from above. Really, you need to be down here rather than up there. So like either a disc on the bottom, but it kind of looks a bit disconnected. So the other thing I was thinking was almost like a little snake shape that goes round. And obviously I could press like an indentation into the middle of that, which would help it kind of go in there.
You're on top, now going to change the camera angle.
I suppose you could make it really fancy shaped actually, that bit, couldn't you, if you wanted to? Or maybe I could do a snake shape and that. Oh, you're just dropping everything.
I am just dropping everything.
Okay. Can everybody see me from above then at the moment?
I hope so.
Is it just a UK thing then normally, the Macmillen coffee morning?
I'm not sure.
Is it anybody in another country? Do they do Macmillen coffee mornings in other countries, or
They
is
might
it just
have the equivalent, I guess.
is it just a UK thing? Okay, so we've got a little snake shape. As long as I've got a bit in the middle that's a similar kind of thickness, then you can cut off the ends. Because what I was thinking was then we could just add it around there and sit it. Obviously I haven't done it neatly at the moment because I just feel like it sits neater in that. Maybe I could do it on both, I don't know. Maybe if I did like this disc and then this would make it really tall though, wouldn't it? Let me just roll this a little bit thinner. And remember, if you struggle with your hands, you can just use the cake smoother. Again, I've put it in the cupboard. So basically I've got loads of my equipment in the cupboard here, like right near me. But then when all the stock comes in from the shop, it just kind of gets piled up wherever there's a bit of space, which happens to be in front of my cupboard. And now it's really difficult to get into the cupboard itself. So loads of my equipment is just sat unused because I'm struggling to get to it. Okay, so I've gone a little bit thinner with this. Did anybody say they were having Macmillen coffee mornings then? Or did they normally happen at a certain time?
Maybe certain days. I've heard, I think Dan says they do them in here in WA. I don't know if that's Western Australia possibly. I'm guessing that's what WA means. Not heard of them in Canada before. But I think, they'll have equivalent sort of things.
Yeah, so I think the Macmillen cancer morning thing.
They pay for like the Macmillan nurses.
Yeah, they pay for the Macmillan nurses, I think. You guys will be able to correct me if I'm wrong. And they're the people that support like cancer sufferers and help them. So the money goes towards that, I think. I should really do more research tonight on things. Okay, so I've put that little thing there.
Wow, the wind's going.
Can you hear the wind? And then, can you actually see that at all, Richard, on screen? Yeah, you can see this underneath bit.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, that didn't sound very convincing. So I think it'll just sit in there, and then I just need to work out actually putting it in. Oh, which water have I been using? The water I've been drinking?
I've not actually been noticing.
I think I have. Oh. Yeah, this one looks... I must have been using this one a little bit because it looks a bit grottier because I was rinsing and powder out my brushes in it earlier. But I think I might have actually dipped in there. It wouldn't be the first time. So plenty of water on there, and then we're going to try and sit this in it so it's level. Again, I can never tell because from One view, it looks level, and then from another it doesn't. Does that look wonky still from your angle? Thing is, when it becomes so tall, it starts to look like a trophy rather than a teacup. Do you not think? Like if it was taller, it would look more like a little trophy. Does it look wonky? I'm giving it a good press down. Can you guys see that?
Now you've picked up, you can't. If you push it down a bit, there you go. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, perfect.
Like I say, I'm not sure.
You could put a frill around it as well to make it blend in, couldn't you? Or something to do it.
Frill around which bit?
The bottom of the cup to make it more fancy.
A frill?
You know, to cover your lip at the base.
It was supposed to have the lip.
Okay.
That's what I was going for. A frill. You don't put frills on cups. Do you actually mean a frill? Do you mean something else?
Well, I don't know. It's like a pattern.
A pattern? Okay. Oh, it looks wonky still. Move over. Never mind. It's a little bit wonky. I suppose you could do it on the one that's upside down while it's still drying, but obviously you'd have to just be careful and you need to make sure that it's central. I'm not sure I would get it central. The fact that I can't get it central when it's upright means it's probably going to be even harder.
Do you know what? Top down it looks fine.
Okay. Let's just not show anyone it from the side then. For the saucer, let me move everything out of the way again. What we did was, again, we just rolled out some paste. I actually took one of Richard's little saucers from his little, what cups are they from?
Espresso cups.
From his espresso cups. And then when I cut out my circle, I was like, it's a lot bigger than what I wanted, and I couldn't find anything smaller. Whereas it's a good idea to just use a saucer and put, especially if it's got a bit of a dip in, it's going to work better. But I couldn't find anything the right size, so yeah, let's go for the biggest cutter. Let's roll out some more paste when I find where I put it.
Would you recommend water or edible glue to stick things together?
I like water, but I know some people say definitely edible glue. It's just personal preference, really. I don't get on very well with the edible glue. I end up with it everywhere, and then instead of it sticking, I end up with things sliding apart because I've put so much on. I don't know why, I just prefer the water. It's one less thing that I need in my kit, and I already have a lot of things in my kit. But I know that, like, in the shop we sell a lot of the edible glue, don't we? So I know that a lot of people must use it. So I think it does just come down to personal preference. If I was sticking something to like a piece of polystyrene, sometimes I have to use like edible glue or even like piping gel because the water doesn't work as well then. Okay, I'm just going to try and roll up those creases and cracks again. Plenty of pressure on there to get rid of creases and cracks. Get a bit more corn flour down. Move that out of the way. And then we're going to roll it out. Again, it's up to you how thick it is. I suppose if you want a nice bone china one, it'd be fairly thin, wouldn't it? Can you guys hear the wind? I feel like I've always rolled it fairly thin, and then when I cut it out and I look from the side, I'm like, oh, that's actually much thicker than I thought it was. And that always happens to me. I'm going to go for this size, I think. No, I'm not. I was going to go for the bigger one, wasn't I? See how bad my memory is. I can't remember 2 minutes later. So it's not overly thin. I could actually, when I pick it up and feel it, it felt thin. Doesn't look that thin at all. It's probably similar thickness to that last one that I did, but I'll maybe go a little bit thinner. So rather than fully screwing it up and starting again, I'll just roll the one I've got a little bit thinner. Although the thinner I go, the more it might drop through my cutters that I've been using. Because what I'd been doing, let me just get rid of any scruffy edges. All I'd been doing was resting it on just the very edge of my cutters. So if it's thicker, it's less likely to kind of fall. So the idea being that it was just going to give me an ever so slight dip without me having to use like a saucer, because I couldn't find a saucer that was small enough for that. But like I say, we'll see. We'll see what they end up looking like. So this was the one that I was having a go at earlier. It hasn't set, but it's fine. It would need to put something on the bottom a bit like we did on that. Probably doesn't want to be too big, does it? Like, because your saucer sits not really too high up. I'm just going to roll. I'm just going to do a circle on the bottom of this one, I think. So fairly thin. Okay, I'm going to put some corn flour on the bottom so it doesn't stick to the work surface. Oh, I've done it again. In the wrong water, never mind. So some water on there. We'll stick this under our teacup. So because I put quite a bit of water on it, it'll slide about a little bit first. I should have really let this have longer to dry, but I haven't. Okay. Sticks up quite a bit, doesn't it? It might, this one, because it hasn't dried, it might open out again a little bit. I'm hoping that it will be okay. So I'm pressing it fairly firmly into that little disc that's at the bottom. So if you pick it up, the disc should still stay on there. Let's see if the teacup fits in it any better. Kind of fits in it a little bit better now. Do you think?
Turn it on a little bit.
It's fairly chunky. It's quite high up from the saucer, but that one's quite high up from our saucer, isn't it? We're not modelling it off this one, by the way. If it turns out like it, then yes we are. If not, we're not. Okay, yeah. I'm fairly happy with that. Richard's face doesn't look that amused by it. Just going to put this bit away again. Okay, so I'll have a drink from my other glass now. I've got a glass over here as well, I keep forgetting. Okay. Should I add a bit of colour to it? I actually thought a bit of gold leaf would look quite nice on it, but I have left it away in the cupboard. I'm just going to put this one to one side. My pug keeps sticking to everything. It's my pug. Okay. Then, again, so normally I would leave this overnight as sort of the least amount of time before I would normally do anything with it. And if you've got longer, leave it longer. Also, the weather would change it. So like last night, I put the heating on in the house, which made this start to set a little bit quicker. But if not, it was so cold last night that actually it wouldn't have really set that much. So when it's very cold, if there's any kind of dampness in the air or any moisture, it will stop it setting as quickly. Sometimes I'll put my radiators on and then I'll put them above my radiators because the heat from them warms them up a little bit. I've also put them in the that proving machine thing, you know, for putting bread dough in. Sometimes when I've done like flowers and things, I put them in that. You could put them in the oven in a really low heat if you wanted, but not on the polystyrene. That would be the thing. You can put the polystyrene in the oven.
With dry air, I'm sure when you used to do wedding cakes, it looked like a petal dryer thing.
No, it was a bread proving
Oh, was
thing.
it a bread
yeah,
proving?
it was a bread
Okay.
proving thing. I don't know the technical terms for them, but yeah. Yeah, you can get I've forgotten what they're called again, for the put cookies in trays and they dry them. I've just forgotten what they're called. You guys watching will probably know better than me what they're called. I forget everything. Okay. I'm thinking I might go pink. Because I've got pink in front of me. Pink and gold. Should we go bright
Can
pink
everybody
or
hear
light
the wind?
pink? Yeah, it's quite
You must
windy
be able to hear
outside.
the wind.
Do I want to go that bright or do I want to go paler? I think I've left all my pinks somewhere else. Can you see my pinks?
You mean all these ones over here?
Oh, it's iridescent. Maybe I could go iridescent. Maybe I could do both. I've got an iridescent gold fusion one. And I'm going to use some pink. The candy pink is really pale. The fractal ones are all really nice as well. They're all similar-ish in shades, like the two each other. I'll be back in 1 second, guys. I'm just looking for where I put my candy pink. No, that's peach. Richard, you can entertain people while I'm looking for my pink. Where's my pink from? The other day I had loads of them, and every time I was looking for a darker colour, the candy pink kept popping out, and I was like, I don't want the candy pink, and now that I want it, I'll find the blooming thing. Okay, I found one. I think I found one. This is when sometimes I find that when I take the lids off, they all look the same, and realise that actually in the classes, when we've used them, the wrong lids have been put on the wrong pots, so maybe.
We do
No,
it
that's it, that's the candy
do it
pink.
just to to wind you up.
Pink candy one. So strawberry should be the darker one, rose should be in between, and pink candy should be palest. Yeah, there we go. I actually probably don't even need to go as dark as that one. We'll see. I'm going to start with a lighter one. And you can mix corn flour in with your powders if you think that they're a bit brightly coloured. So remember, ideally, it wants to have fully dried. Because I can't even hold on to it.
Come towards me a little bit. That's it. Yeah.
I can hold on to it, but I can't hold on to it that hard because I'm worried about it breaking. Actually, just the pale one looks nice. I was going to go a bit darker each time and then really dark at the bottom, but I've realised because I put water on, the dust is going to sit funny where the water is. So we might have to scrap that idea. I was going to go ombre and go light, medium, and then dark near the bottom. Like I say, it hasn't started to set fully, so we might scrap that idea. Look, I've gone quiet while I'm dusting.
You always get quiet when you're dusting, or when you're concentrating.
Yeah, when I'm concentrating. I don't know, because it's not even a bit that I really need to concentrate that much on, because all I'm doing is just dusting one colour at the moment.
Just to recap, you're making a pug face today as well.
Yeah, it'll have a bit of a body as well.
Okay.
It's supposed to be a pug in a mug.
Yeah, today's was a pug in a mug, which is, I don't know, is that something or is that just something you made up?
No, it just sounded alright.
Pug in a mug. Okay, there you go.
A pug in a teacup. I wasn't going to make a pug, but I was Googling cute teacups, and what kept coming up was, those teacup dogs? Richard has no idea. I always get, people always tag me in videos of these, is it called Rollies Teacup? I don't know, there's a company that does dogs. It sounds awful, doesn't it? It basically breeds tiny dogs and they call them teacup dogs. Teacup because the size.
That does not sound
because they're small enough to, and they're really cute, but I kind of sometimes feel like maybe the dogs shouldn't be put in teacups all the time for photos, but I don't know. I'm not there. I don't know if they enjoy it or not.
Yeah, no, that's not. Yeah. I mean, I think we've got a small dog and he's not really that small.
No, he's not a small dog.
Not
like the teacup dogs are tiny.
We've got a little French bulldog and I think he's quite small. Although he still weighs about 15 kilos. Although he seems to be a lot. You would think he's a lot heavier than he is because he's a little dog with a big dog syndrome, isn't he? He thinks he's a big man.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. We have had one of our late arrival viewers today. Deirdre has joined us.
Hey, Deirdre.
And should have done a devil in a vessel.
A devil in a vessel.
Thank you. So at the moment, Zoe is just dusting the teacup that she made earlier on today.
I might actually go a bit darker on that edge there.
And then she'll be recreating a little pug to go in her teacup.
So that's the pink candy one I've put on. I'm going to put some on the edge of this as well.
For anybody that's just joined us, the video will be available back on our Facebook page. As soon as we've finished, it'll stay on our Facebook page. You can then recatch the full live if you joined us late. So don't worry, you'll be able to catch up on bits you may have missed.
Should you want to? Well, they're catching up. Okay. Yeah, and thank you to anyone that is sending stars. Like I said, so the money we get from the stars is going to go towards Macmillen. It's just called Macmillen Cancer, isn't it? Yeah,
well, it's Macmillen Coffee Morning, but it's basically... Yeah. So at the bottom here, all stars received today will be donated and matched and given to Macmillan Coffee Morning. The Macmillan Coffee Morning is basically it's a cancer support charity here in the UK.
But you don't have to if you don't want to. Just if you want to.
Obviously, the video is free to watch anyway, so don't worry. I can't believe you don't put Bruce in them. You should have done the French Bulldog in the cup.
Yeah, it looked really ugly last time I made a French Bulldog. Do you not remember? I can see the French Bulldog looking at me from the side over there.
Okay.
Yep. See, it's because Richard can't even tell which model on the side is the French Bulldog. Should we just colour
it
into this?
is. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Mind you, this pug I made was pretty ugly as well. So, there we go.
You have done a French Bulldog cake before, then?
I think that one was pretty ugly as well.
Okay.
I mean, they're pretty ugly dogs, aren't they?
Bruce is not ugly. He's a handsome chap. I think he's handsome.
He's handsome to us, not to everyone.
You can tell the audience where. Well, maybe not. They may not want to know. Bruce was propositioned to for his services the other day, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm sure they don't care that somebody wanted to stud him out, Richard. Richard's proud of the dog.
Yeah.
Because somebody wanted him for their female dogs.
I was quiet.
He's only a little. He's too young for that kind of thing. Okay, so we've got a bit pink on. I might go a tiny bit darker. So that was the candy pink. Look at the colour of my hands. I think I'm done with most of the white stuff though. It would probably end up being a pink pug, I'll be honest. Slightly pink pug. I don't know if this one will make a big difference because it's not a lot darker in the pink. So I want to try and just
Can you just come towards me a little bit? That's it.
So I want to try and keep it just kind of towards the top edge now. I'm not too worried if I drop it inside the cup. I can always paint the cup a different colour inside. See, we could fill it with paste so it looks like it's filled with like tea, but then it kind of defeats the point of me doing it over the ball if it's not hollow inside. Does that make sense? Yeah. But if you find that you can't get it sturdy enough, then do just fill it with something that looks like tea. I don't mean liquid, but it will then keep it nice and hard. I've got loads of powder in the middle of it that we're just going to dust around. I don't know if it actually... Is it looking any darker at the top or not?
Yeah, it is.
Richard wasn't even looking in this direction. Richard's now going through his rucksack when he said, yeah.
Because the iPad's going to die.
Okay.
And then it will be cut out and people won't finish the video.
Okay. What kind of things do we able to talk about at coffee mornings then?
Just general chit chat.
Do you go to coffee mornings? Is that how you know Richard?
I know, but I've had coffee with people before. Just a chance for people to catch up, isn't it?
Okay.
Well, that's a fair. At the moment, I think everybody talks about it's either in the UK, it's either Brexit, what's happening, or COVID. It's not that much exciting stuff.
I don't know. I don't socialise very much, so I don't really have conversations with people.
Well, we've jumped up in the viewer numbers now.
Have we? It's because I'm dusting.
We've gone from a couple of hundred to about 4,000.
Oh wow! You guys have all missed the beginning bit. So we've just been making a teacup in modelling paste or flour paste, gum paste. And we're going to try and make a little pug to go in it. Hopefully it won't be as ugly as my last one, but it may well be. We'll see. There's my teacup. So my teacup hasn't, I have to stop calling it a teacup, that's my saucer, hasn't actually set as yet, so we'll see if it keeps in its shape or if it's gonna change completely. Okay, so I'm trying to just catch the top edge now so it looks a bit darker just near the top. I could actually have swapped to a smaller brush as well for this. I think probably pink is the colour I use most, isn't it, when I'm dusting? Pink and black.
I think most people that watch will know you use pink in every single video that you do.
I'm using it every video. A lot of them.
Well, I think you do.
I don't. Not every video. Does it look like it's slightly ombre? Slightly?
Yeah, it's colour changing.
I've made a bit of a mess, but that's okay. Shall I see if we can put any...
Can I bring it just a little bit into the camera, because on both cameras?
So the idea was to leave it kind of white at the bottom, but I feel like when I put it in the saucer it looks weird, like you can't tell. I think I've made the saucer too pink. Like the saucer needs almost whitening. Have I got any white? Oh wait, I was going to try this on it. Let's try this on the saucer. Hang on, let me put the lids on these. See if I can put them on the right ones, otherwise I get the wrong ones back out again later. So I used strawberry, pink candy and rose. And if you're using the fractal ones, it would be like the kitty nose pink, probably the claret and...
Pelican pink.
Pelican pink, I reckon, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, let me try and get some of the pink out of the brush. And then let's see what happens when we put this one on. I don't know actually if it shows up or not for you guys, but it gives it kind of a bit of a pearlized
Just
effect.
to recap, what paste have you been using for the teacup and saucer?
So I used the Renshaw's flour and modelling paste. So I'll see if Emily will put up a link for you guys so you can see which one it is. So not the Renshaw's modelling paste on its own, because that won't set quite as hard. It needs to be the flour and modelling paste if you're using the same one as me. If not, just a flour paste that you know sets really hard. So that's why I've not used my Saracino for this.
It is still a little bit flexible, isn't it, now? So you just take it.
That one is, yeah. This one's slightly harder because I made this one last night, and then the version we made this morning we made over like a polystyrene ball, but that one really needs to set at least overnight. Does it show up better on this one?
Yeah.
That did not sound very convincing how you said yes then, Richard.
So it's...
Is there someone at the door? Is it postman again?
No.
Have we ever done a Facebook Live yet where someone hasn't come to the door?
Nope. I don't think we have, actually.
So for anybody that didn't realise, we do have a shop.
Well, it's not open, though.
No, it's not actually open. So we're selling it. We do everything kind of online, and then we do click and collect. So sometimes it's people at the door that have done the click and collect. Or sometimes people that are just coming to chance to see if we might let them in. But yeah. Okay, I don't know if it shows up a lot on camera. Like, I can see it's got a slightly iridescent shine to it.
Just bring it into the camera, just hold it up.
Hang on.
But you can see.
Oh, you can see that I've dropped it everywhere inside. There's so much like dust within that brush though. I don't know, can you see it or not? It does look more like a little trophy than a cup, doesn't it? It does. It's fine. So let's put a bit of gold on it. This is when it's going to get messy.
You want to try and find some gold leaf, or are you going to use...
No, I'm just going to paint.
You're going to paint,
I'm just going to paint some gold on, I think. They tend to just have it around the rim, don't they?
Like the one you got there. Bring the one that you're... This is not what Zoe's modelling it from.
This is my drink. Me being more grown up today. I'm drinking water. It's just cold. It's not even warm water. It's cold water.
Well, it could be water. It could actually be gin or vodka as well.
Apart from that, I don't drink. Not
There's
really.
quite a lot of gin and vodka to drink, especially at this time in the morning.
Okay, what was I just going to do? I'm going to use these ones because I can just add water to them actually. So anything kind of metallic-y. So these ones are all edible anyway. I mean, you probably wouldn't eat the cup because it will set really, really hard and you'll probably break your teeth on it. But should anybody want to, then, you know, these are edible. They don't come off any fingers. Apart from that, I'm covered in pink and gold luster anyway. Or you could use like one of the powdered ones and we could mix them with a bit of alcohol. Should I do that? No, I'm going to use these ones today.
You've got so much choice.
I did have a proper cup of water for my actual paint stuff. Ooh, see I like this one. This is my favourite. That's rose gold one. But I don't think it's going to show as well, is it, against that?
I think we want a bright, deep gold.
But like that one?
Fourth one down on your right.
This one?
Yeah, I like that one.
I don't know. Or maybe one of these colours would be better.
Yeah, for our regulars, you will know Zoe and her decisiveness and decision making.
I can't make a decision.
I'm always tested in every single.
One.
You go for that. Okay.
I should remove this out of my pack because I keep sticking it to the palette. So that's what the white bit is. It's the paper that I've managed to get off there. So this one you don't need like clear alcohol or dip in solution for. It just works with water. You see. You could probably go for a smaller brush as well, but the bigger brush is nice for mixing the water to the paint. So it takes a few seconds to work it in there to get nice consistency for your paint. Do you think I should swap to a smaller brush now?
No, okay, I would have said yes.
Well, we'll see how we get on.
You'll just say in a minute, oh, it's too much has gone on.
Probably.
Yeah.
Very probably. Okay. So I just don't want it to be super runny when I put it on, so I'm mixing it for a little while to get it to that nice paint. Do you put gold on the handle or not? I'm not sure.
No, your handle's got it on the outside edge of the handle.
Oh yeah, that might be a bit too tricky.
You might need a small paintbrush for that.
Okay, we'll do this top edge first because it's fairly wide. Is my top edge? They'll probably still go over the edge. Look. Are you laughing? Is it because I got
No, I'm not. I'm laughing at the comments. Deirdre, decisions. Then this is the bit. She used to be indecisive. Now she's not so sure. I think our viewers know you too well.
If there's more than a choice of two things, I just can't make a decision.
Yeah.
To the point where it actually winds everyone up that knows me.
But no, it's like when we go out for meals, it's generally it's either you can't make your choice or you go for the most expensive thing on the menu, which pretty much is all the time.
Yeah, it's because it's usually something that I like. Do I go over the edge or do I just leave it just on that top edge? Like from the top, obviously you can see it. From the side you can't see it, but I'm thinking if I go around the sides I might mess it up. Could put dots around the sides, couldn't I?
Big dots.
Let me try and put... I'm going with the big brush, so I might ruin it. A little line on that. Or big line. I don't think I've done it too bad. For some reason I can't paint in the opposite direction though. So this side's going to be much harder for me. Yep.
Yeah, that is a mighty big paintbrush.
This is a size 5 one.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Maybe some little dots, but then... So painting circles is something that I'm definitely not very good at. Let's do the edge of this. It's quite thick though, isn't it? So I'm going to have to have like... So it's a big wide band of gold. You'll see it on the saucer though, won't you? See, if I'd have done a smaller one, it would take me quite a while to kind of fill this bit in, I think.
Bear with me, I think we've got a palette outside.
Ooh, is that our Saracino arriving?
I don't know. Sorry.
As long as you guys can still see me. It's not very interesting, is it, these bits I'm doing, so I apologise. I'm half listening in to what's happening outside at the door. For what we're getting delivered, if it's something exciting or not. Is it something exciting or not, Richard?
More chocolate.
Oh, okay.
And glucose syrup so that you can make more chocolate.
Oh, yes, I've been making loads of modelling chocolate for my CI piece. Although CI isn't happening anymore, but I think I'm still supposed to be making the piece. But Calibo Chocolate had sponsored it, so they've sent me quite a lot of chocolate that I can use for creating modelling chocolate out of. And we've spent many, many days making modelling chocolate. It does taste nice though, and the stuff that we've made is actually really nice. Like, it's really nice to use.
I guess we're at nearly 6,500 online viewers. Right, wow. Thank you everybody that's joined us.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, guys.
It's crazy.
Okay, so let's rinse some of that off. So, do we put dots on or not? What do you reckon?
Just bring it in. I'm going to switch cameras.
You can't tell it's ombre now, can you? Really? Maybe I should have kept the saucer more white in colour. Do you reckon? Normally I would now go wash my hands so that I can then make the pug without making it pink. My pug might be pink. Would you reckon some little dots on or not?
Well, how about you make the pug first, let that dry, then you can make it.
Okay,
we can add
then
to
I can decide later.
Because this is the fun bit now.
Okay, see if there's any questions. I am going to have to just wash my hands because the pug is just going to be sort of like metallic-y pink. Probably it's going to be anyway.
A few people know it's not a makeup. It's not a makeup palette. It is a edible paint palette. So if you bring it in,
Sweet sticks.
Emily.
I think Emily will put a link up for you guys. So they're edible food colours. Are these ones?
And they're alcohol-free, vegan-friendly.
Yeah, I've had mine a while, but I don't eat the stuff I put it on, but it is edible stuff. So the water activated. Quite often things like this are alcohol activated, but this one's quite good because it's not. They do come out so that if you've used, say, one colour, because they're not cheap items like these, if you've used one colour a lot and you want to just replace that one, you can buy them as individual things, so you can just replace that colour. Or if you like a different colour that's not in this palette, you can just buy another one and
it's a bit like that MAC makeup set that I bought you, where you've got about 50 colours in that I think have been used loads. Where you can replace your colours, can't you?
Are you being sarcastic?
Not at all.
But yeah, you can't really tell because I'm covered in powder, but if you rub them, like, the powder doesn't come off in your hands quite often with some of the powder ones where you add like clear alcohol. Like, I still use the powder ones, I still like the powder ones, but when I use the clear alcohol with them, when it's dried, I still get like a powdery layer. These I don't. So it's good for that. Okay, I'm going to quickly wash my hands, guys. I'll just be a second. I was hoping while I cleaned my hands, maybe Richard would clean my workspace, but I don't think he's
going to. A few people have asked for dots would be good.
Oh, dots. Okay, we'll put some dots on in a bit. I'm just giving my hands a wet, guys.
And hoping that you're still making the showpiece as well, which you will be doing, won't you?
Yeah, it's just that it's in my living room.
So,
it's going to be fully made in the living room, which means half of it might be eaten by the dog, possibly. He's already been sniffing around it. I mean, it's not something that obviously is going to be eaten by anyone, but it's going to be tricky keeping it away from the dog. And obviously, it's important that the dog doesn't eat it because it's chocolate. Right, I'm going to move this. So that's the one we made earlier. So you see it's starting to firm up. Like I can pick it up and it holds its shape. But if I left it like that for long, I think it might open a little bit. So I would leave that on there to dry overnight. Let me move that to one side. And for my pug, I'm going to use... So I've got the Saracino here. I've got a little bit of black, a little bit of brown. So I just pulled off a little bit. So I shouldn't have really left it out unwrapped again. And then for the pug itself, I'm going to use the Candy Clay Firm. Now it was really firm earlier and I spent so long kneading it that it actually ended up becoming quite soft. But this stuff is supposed to be quite good if you've got warm hands. I actually don't have warm hands, which is why it took me so long to knead it. But yeah, it's supposed to be really good for... And it's kind of like modelling chocolate, isn't it? This one I would say is slightly paler in colour than like modelling chocolate. Like it's not pure white, but it is... Actually, it's a really good colour for the pug that I'm doing. But yeah, it's not pure white.
Guess what? This is a bit of a random. Okay. I mean, obviously, there may be lots of people that work there, but Zachary is watching and works for T2, where you got your teacup from.
That is where I got my teacup from.
I would say it's a small world, but it's a big world.
Where's Zachary based?
Zachary, if you're hearing this, where are you based?
Well, I didn't even know they had them in the UK till I went to go teach in Australia, did I? And then they were everywhere in Australia, and I bought loads of stuff at all the Australian T2 shops. And then when I came home, there was one in Leeds.
Yeah, but they're quite a new thing in the UK, I think.
Yeah, I think is it cheaper?
It is
stuff
Australian. I don't know, but I think it's an Australian company.
Yeah.
Right, so now Zoe is making her pug.
Zachary, have a word with them for an advent calendar for me. Every year when I tried to get one, I haven't been able to get hold of an advent calendar from T2.
Do they do them, or do they?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
I went all over, like in Australia. I had people driving them into all different stores to see if I could get hold of them, and because you liked your different teas.
I do like my different teas.
And
I like my matcha
yeah,
tea.
everywhere had sold out. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to decide how big I want the pug's head to be. I went smaller on that one, and I used it's a bit ugly, isn't it? I can't promise this one's not going to be ugly as well. I used my pearls in the eyes, and then I coloured them in with a black and brown edible pen. These have got chocolate in the middle, so all this stuff is edible. And this stuff actually tastes quite nice, so I was going to try some now and eat it, but I won't, because if you think I drink noisily, I eat even noisier, so I won't do that. Okay, let me move the teacup to one side. This is bigger than last time. I don't know, do I keep it small actually? I'm moving the teacup back in short again.
Does it look nice? Zachary's replied, he's based in Melbourne.
I don't think I went to one in Melbourne actually. I went to quite a few over in Sydney.
But
that's because I wasn't staying near the centre in Melbourne, and I'm not very good at getting myself into the city centres in different countries. Can you see it or not?
I'm just going to change that camera angle. Like, yeah.
Is that size okay or not? Or should I go bigger? What do we think? Bigger? Same size?
Just going to switch it now.
I'm going to go... You've got to imagine it would have a body as well, so we're going to make it like a tiny little body. If it's too heavy, I'm worried about it breaking the teacup. But I feel like a big head looks quite cute.
That is a much bigger head. But go for it.
Okay, maybe I won't go bigger. Maybe we could put 2 in. And I won't go any bigger.
There you go. Zachary also says the calendars come out late October.
Do they? So that's when I need to try get one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I left it too late then.
I've already got your Christmas calendar this year.
Thanks.
It's okay.
Richard's a pain to buy for Christmas calendars because he won't eat chocolate. Well, he says he doesn't eat chocolate, and he does.
It's because I'm diabetic, so I've got quite a good reason to. But anyway.
Yeah, but trying to find non-chocolate calendars is sometimes quite difficult for men. Like, there's a lot more available for women.
Do you know what? I've actually seen quite a good calendar. Brewdog do a nice calendar.
Do they?
Yeah, 24 beers. There you go.
Okay. Because your tummy needs some more beers. Okay, let's see how big this is. 47 grams. I want to see how much this one weighs. Oh, almost the same. It kind of flattened a little bit when I was making it. So the same might happen again. You can put them in like, I don't know where my little polystyrene thing is. I have like a flour former that dips. It was somewhere on there. I don't know whereabouts it's gone. Anyway, it kind of holds things a little bit cupped so they don't flatten quite as much. I don't know where it's gone. It's knocking around somewhere. Okay. So I think I've got a few creases in there, but most of the creases. I'm going to keep it fairly round. I am going to kind of squash it down a little bit anyway, actually. Okay, let's see. You see when I smooth it off, the heat in my hand kind of makes it slightly shiny. It doesn't dry as shiny as that though, guys, I'm afraid. Okay, so we want a tiny nose. I'm going to use brown for the nose. I'm going to keep it fairly low down on the face. So this one is quite cold, and I've also left it out of the bag. I should really keep it in the bag. So it's started to dry out a bit. But if needed, my fingers are really cold, so they're not bringing it round very much. Usually the heat from your hands helps you to knead it. And anybody that joined me yesterday will know that the microwave I have at work, I actually took home to use at home because we don't have one at home, and I keep forgetting to bring it back to work. So quite often we just put it in the microwave for a few seconds to warm it up when my hands are cold, but I can't do that today.
Vivian's got a good idea. We should do a cake calendar to get like doors and dusts and glitters.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
That is an awesome idea, Vivian.
What do you put it in?
Well, we'd have to design something.
That is a good idea. Would people be interested in something like that then?
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea.
I think it's a nice idea.
We'll have to see what we can do.
I don't know what kind of money do people pay for calendars. Some of the calendars are really expensive. When I was looking at some of them were like £200 for a calendar and stuff. And I was like,
more than that.
Yeah, I hope you spent more than that on me. I am kidding. I'm happy with one of those like $1.99 chocolate calendars. Oh, actually, maybe not at the moment because I think everybody at is it that company that makes loads of calendars in the UK? I think like loads of the staff have got coronavirus.
I've not heard that.
Tiny teardrop. My dad told me.
Okay.
It might not be right, so don't go on anything I say, guys. I should just not be allowed to speak, to be honest.
Right, you're in good form today.
I always put my foot in it and say something that I shouldn't. Okay, let's see.
A lot of people are saying yes to the calendar idea.
What kind of money though do people spend on calendars? Like, what kind of budget would you say? Because obviously that depends on what goes in the calendar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right, guys, it's a small piece. I did just weigh it and then forgot how much it weighed. About 1.7. And I've rolled it in the middle so that it's dipped in the middle, slightly wider at either end, and then we'll bend it round a little bit to create our little nose. So we keep giving it a tiny little nose, and it's got a big head. Maybe that's why I've made it so ugly. Okay, so we put teardrop there, which is going to be the chin part, and then we're going to stick this over there like that. Okay? Does that show on the camera?
Yeah.
I'm going to put some cornflour down actually because I know I kept sticking the other one to the table earlier.
But you're doing right as long as you stay roughly where you are now.
It's going to need some eyes. Do I give it the same size eyes as that one or not? Should I go for just plain black eyes?
Is the other pug's one of his eyes going in a different direction?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was by accident, but I figured that's okay because quite often don't they have like eyes that go all over? When I see pictures of them, their eyes go all over.
I don't know.
Do they? Who's seen or got a pug? Should I try it with black eyes? So the last one I just used white for the eyes and then I coloured them in. But I might try black and see if it looks any cuter. Yeah, maybe it would have looked nicer if I'd have done them looking in the same direction. Like I say, it was by accident that they're not. Oops. And you have to be careful getting your fingernails and everything. I'm just going to put a light dip in first with this because I know that I'm going to end up dropping them all over the place. So it might just help me get these in place. Okay. So we can push them in there and there. They kind of bulge a bit anyway, don't they? Pug's eyes, I think. So I don't want it to squash too much at the bottom because I want the nose to look like it's at the very bottom of the face. Getting cornflour everywhere now. You can put water in the back of those eye sockets if you're worried about it not staying in place. This one I tried to kind of push its eyes down a little bit, which kind of changed the shape of its eye just a little bit. Cornflour on absolutely everything. Let me see if I can find a dry brush that's not too dirty that I can just dust that off with. I don't know, can you see? Does it make it look sad by doing that? A little bit sadder looking.
Are they the 10mm sugar pearls?
Yeah, these are the 10mm, so these are the ones that have got chocolate in. In fact, there's a broken one, so you can see. Can you see they have chocolate in the middle? That was handy, wasn't it? Tastes alright, that. Okay, so I'm going to put a little line above its nose. So
that's quite a good idea.
I'm using the rubber-ended tools, like the more rounded ones. Maybe I can use a slightly bigger one because I don't want the lines to be really harsh. I want them to be fairly soft looking. What's a good idea, sorry?
Karen Breen suggested you could put an online class in the advent calendar. You could do like a special
Christmas Day.
Well, no, I don't think we'd run on Christmas Day.
No, I meant on Christmas Day. That's what they open. Not I'll be doing one on Christmas Day.
Yeah, but it'd be like a special one that you only get in the advent calendar, if you know what I mean. So it's limited
that's
to
quite a cool idea.
So limited to anyone that buys a calendar gets like.
That's a really good idea. But if it's a surprise in the calendar, then people might not buy it for the class. If that makes sense.
We could do some calendars get the class, some calendars don't.
That's a bit mean.
So then it is completely right.
That's a little bit mean, Richard. So I'm going to put another line either side. I don't actually know where the wrinkles belong on these dogs at all. I think that sounds like someone's wheelie bin that just fell over outside.
Yeah.
So.
Wow, we've got 7,000 viewers now.
Wow.
Keep going, Zoe.
So little. So this is just stopping the lines being too sharp looking. Like I could use my Dresden tool, but they'll be quite a bit sharper. I mean, you might want sharper lines. Let's go a tiny bit sharper just there, but I thought maybe it would look cuter if it was kind of softer lines. Everything's more kind of rounded and more plump looking. Maybe, I don't know. Is it looking any less ugly than the last one? No, probably not.
At the moment, his eyes both go the same way.
Well, that's because I haven't drawn it like actual pupils and stuff on.
Always a good start.
So you can't really tell. So it needs a little band of the paste. So remember, this is the one I'm using today. You can go for whatever you want, guys, but I thought I'd give this one a try because the colour was quite nice for my pug anyway.
You want to bring that back into shot, sorry?
Oh, sorry. For people not see it. And like I say, I'll get Emily to put links up to all this stuff anyway so that you guys can have a look at it if you want. In fact, if many of you use the Sugar Street one, Sugar Street Studios candy clay, it is nice. I know I do use the Saracino a lot. I do sometimes use other things though.
Yeah, I think that's the one good thing about yourself. You can use anything and everything. You're not. I mean, obviously, I know you use Saracino a lot, but you can use anything and everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, within reason. Sometimes when I teach in different countries, the pastes are very different. And for some things, I can use different pastes. Sometimes there's things where actually it does make a difference to what I'm making. So we've just rolled a little piece there so we've got an extra bit on the nose. I'm tempted to put another little bit on. I don't know how many creases they have on the noses. I should have really got a little picture of one up, shouldn't I? Too much with that one as well, or? Okay.
That's alright. Yeah. It's basically like Bruges with smaller ears and more wrinkles.
They are ugly looking little things that I've made. They were supposed to be cute. They're not so cute. Shall I replace that one's eyes with just black eyes?
Yeah, they look good like they are. Yeah,
these ones, or replace them with black eyes.
Yeah, replace them with black eyes. Yeah, they do look a little bit cuter.
Yeah, I think it's because they're wonky. Maybe they just wouldn't look very good anyway. I'm not sure. Let's see if I can dig out the. Oops. So can you see that was just the sugar pearl?
Oh, there you go. Zoe's eating that. You like?
Well, we've got to waste if not. Actually, I think I put these ones closer together on its head as well. I'm going to have to bring its eyebrow like right down so that the eyeball doesn't pop back out.
Yeah, I think we're doing quite well today. I might be wrong, everybody might be doing it really quickly, but I've not seen any spam today. Which is unusual.
Maybe it's because I didn't really advertise we were doing this. No, this one looks like an old pug now that's very wrinkly and I've changed the shape of its face a bit much.
You want to bring a bit more to your left. That's it.
Yeah, he's not alright. I've made him worse, haven't I? I think. He's going to be at the back of the teacup, a little bit hidden behind this one. So that you can't see it as much. Then we need to give him a little nose. And it's up to you whether you want to go big or small. Let's do a big one and a smaller one and we'll see what looks best.
Just to recap, these are 10 ml sugar pearls.
That were in the eyes.
That were in the eyes, yeah.
The Saracino that I'm using for the nose and the brown. But again, you can use whatever you want. It's such small amounts that it won't matter what you're using. So let's see what I'm just going for round noses at first. So that's with a small nose. That's with a bigger nose. Do you think smaller?
Oh, bigger is nice.
Do you think? I was thinking big looked a bit much.
Okay.
Maybe in between. Let's go in between. Soften it up, and then I need to decide if we're going round, oval, or triangular. Let's go oval this time. See what the oval one looks like. Let's go triangular. I'm gonna go cross between oval and triangular. See, this is the problem. I just can't make up my mind about anything. So it's kind of, it's not really a cross between oval and triangular, is it? It's just, it's a softer cornered long triangle. I should really know the names of triangles, shouldn't I? And I don't. Okay, so near the top of the nose, just there. Sorry. Okay, looks nicer than that one, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'd have still gone bigger. But,
You'd have still gone bigger.
yeah.
It needs ears as well. But just before I put on some ears, I'm going to give it a bit of dusting.
Jennifer's agreed with me as well. She said,
That's better.
there you go.
Try not to agree with Richard too much, everybody. Okay, let's just put a bit of dark brown. I think it was just dark brown, wasn't it? Or chocolate. Chocolate colour. Put a little bit into the creases.
Just out of interest, and for the viewers, dusts on modelling chocolate compared to dust on like modelling paste, is there any similarities? Is it a different way to work?
No, it's the same. Well, because I'm dry dusting it, it's just the same. Unless if it's if you've got really hot hands and the oils have come out of it because like you've melted all the cocoa butter in it because your hands are really hot and you've not given it time to go back to room temperature, then what would happen is it would stick more to the oils that have kind of started to seep out the chocolate because it'd be a bit tacky on the surface. So just wait till it feels like it's not tacky at all on the surface.
Yeah, it's just noticing because obviously on screen you can see the head's a little bit shiny, so I didn't know if that would make any.
And my hands are still quite colder, so even though it's shiny, I can feel it's not greasy, this one.
Right, cool.
Just trying to darken. Did it look cuter before I'd added the colour? Do you think, or not? Going a bit darker around the eye. Maybe it makes it look more evil when I go darker around the eye, I'm not sure. I mean, obviously it's missing its ears. That's going to make a big difference. We're just going to go around the mouth a little bit down here. Slightly under the eyes. He looks a bit mucky now. I'm not sure if it looks like pig colouring or if it pug colouring or if it just looks mucky. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm going to work on a bit of a body for it. So the body, because it's in the teacup, we're not going to see all of it, so I'm just going to do a very simple kind of block piece, a blob, that goes in there. We'll add a couple of little arms coming over the edge of the teacup. And then we'll have a look at what the head looks like and work on some ears for it. So ideally you would want to leave this teacup sat longer than I have done. Also you can stick the teacup to the saucer as well if you want. Shall I stick it down together? Does it look alright there?
Yeah.
Yep, we'll just stick them here. So let's put some water.
You're going to bring it a little bit. Are you going to be working in it now?
In a second.
Okay.
So can you see I put quite a bit of water on there so it has a chance to kind of create its own glue and it'll stick itself then, or it should do. Still put a bit of pressure on. Ooh. Squeezed a little bit of water on the bottom now. I put so much on. Okay, so what you need it close to me?
That's it, yeah, that's perfect.
Yep. Okay, so I want them to have fairly small bodies because then they're going to look cute if the head's big in comparison to the body. I'm not too worried about the legs, the back legs. If you want back legs, you can give them, but because they're sat within the teacup, I'm not going to overly worry. Well, let's have a look. Would you say that's a similar size head? Can you remember how much we put in the head?
About 48 or 49 grams, I think.
Was it about that? 43. So that's fine, because I said didn't I a little bit smaller than the head? It's only a tiny bit smaller, but that's fine. You can see that I've been using the colour dust. So if you've been using dust, keep kind of wiping down your work surface, unlike me. Otherwise it'll just go in everything. I'm freezing. I have very hairy arms. But my hair's just on ends then.
You don't need to know that.
Well, they can see them all the time when I'm working, but they're like standing on end. People used to tell me I look like, you know, the Ready Brek kid that used to be on the adverts, say like he used to have a glow around him. When I get cold, people used to call me the Ready Brek kid, because when my hair's standing on end, it looked like a glow. Like the Ready Brek kid had.
I can't remember. I used to hate Ready Brek.
Well, I didn't eat it, but I just remember the advert. Okay. Just because my hands are cold, I'm really struggling to push the creases and cracks out of it. Let's go for like a slightly teardropped shape. And I just want to make sure it's high enough that the head will just kind of peek over there. In fact, what I'm going to do is I will give him a bit of shape on the body. We're going to go around here for one kind of thigh. Is it his thigh? Oops. I've misjudged that one. He's got one thigh smaller than the other. We're not going to see like the feet that would be underneath, so I'm just going to leave them as they are there. So we'll nip him in a tiny bit where the arms are going to come from. I'm going to make the arms before we commit to sticking that down yet.
And I'm just going to switch so they can see the weight.
So they can see what?
So they can see it from either angle.
Alright. Okay. And thanks again to anybody that has been sending stars during the video.
Yes, very much appreciated. It all goes to a good cause.
Yeah, and we'll be matching whatever money comes from the stars. Me and Richard will match that and send it to Macmillen Cancer.
Yeah, so we'll put a note on when we've worked out, because I think it takes about a day for it to work out what stars
Does
come
it?
through.
Okay.
So we'll probably
Then we
post
can-
tomorrow about how much we've raised and what we're going to donate to the cancer charity.
Okay, let's cut this in half. This should be plenty big enough. This might even be too big for what we need, but let's see. I don't know if my scales are even in shot, but it's about 6 grams.
Yeah, just if anybody's watching, if somebody keeps messaging you, if there's like a personal person message you on the page, probably just ignore it. I think we're going to try and...
What, have we got spammers again?
I think it looks like a spammer, yeah. So
Man,
Emily's...
we've got out of it so far today.
Yeah.
The spammers are back on.
Yeah.
If anyone sends any links on here other than us, please don't click them. They should be alright if they're from us, because we just put links to our shop page, but it will say that is us, like Zoe's Fancy Cakes that's written it.
Yeah.
If it's links from anyone else,
Well, it's
please...
not linked. I think somebody's just...
Oh, is it not links this time?
I think somebody's trying to...
Are they selling something?
No, they're just... somebody seems to be trying to chat to every single person watching it, and you've got...
Maybe they're just chatty.
Maybe. I don't know.
I know they have a tail. I've missed the tail off. But they've only got little tails, haven't they?
They do.
Oh, look. Can you see like the you know, after I said that I had really cold hands, the palms of my hands are actually pretty warm. So I'm trying to roll it so that the leg is fairly slender, but we get like a little
You're on both
wide
cameras
bit
at the
fat.
moment.
In fact, it's going to want to kind of curve over the end. I don't know if the gold's set. Oh yeah, the gold has set. Of there, so that the little paw goes over the end. Or we could stick it on as 2 separate
This
pieces.
pug's got a big arm.
Yeah, well, I'm going to cut the arm down. Let's pinch a bit off there. He's got big paws, but that's okay. Big paws are okay. I realise I haven't stuck any of this down. I'm going to see what it looks like. Then at least I can change it around if I decide it's not right. So I'm flattening the paw a little bit because I'm going to be able to bend it round. Can you see what I'm doing okay? Maybe one paw's bigger than the other. Still really windy. Can people hear it a lot, the wind, when they're watching?
Yeah, a few people have commented.
Yeah, it's really windy out at the moment. Oops. because I keep just pinching some off the top. I should probably put the little lines in the paw first. I've got brown powder and dust all over everything, look.
Yeah, sorry, okay. I know dogs do not have arms.
Oh, it's front legs.
Front legs is what I meant.
Let's see if we can get it to go over the rim a little bit more. Putting a little bit of an indentation under there. It's got completely different sized paws. Really just playing around with this again now. And I'm going to push it on there. So if you're using like this candy clay, you might even find that you don't need any water between the pieces when you're sticking them to each other, unless it's got cold, in which case you can just add a little bit of water to it. It's got one arm longer than the other as well.
Do you know what it reminds me of, just because of the colour?
What?
Is it Wallace or Gromit? I can't remember which one's which. Is Wallace the bloke, Gromit's the dog? Gromit, there you go. Although I know Gromit's not got a pug head, but he gave it bigger ears and less
The
wrinkles.
colour's right, but yeah. The face doesn't look like it. Maybe the body, but not the face.
Right.
And I think its face should look this way. But what I want to do is put a massive bow on, so it's going to kind of...
That looks really good now it's come together.
Actually, I'm going to give it tiny tails. Do they have, like, pigtails? I mean, like, a pig's tail, not pigtails as in the hair. Like, do pugs have a little curly tail?
You can give it pigtails if you want.
I might be wrong. This is when I should really Google what I'm making, shouldn't I? If you're happy with it all, guys, you can just actually stick it in place in the cup. I know I haven't, in case I want to remove it later. It's probably going to have a cocktail stick or something in there to hold its head in place. Let's work on that in a minute. It still needs ears as well. I realise it's
Can I just
still
tilt the
missing
cup a little bit so the paws are facing towards that? Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realise you couldn't see them.
Well, no, I'm on both cameras.
I'm
so.
going to put a tiny bit of dust between kind of the paw bits. It looks like it's wet, the gold, but it's not. It is actually quite dry now. Oh, I forgot to put dots on my cup. I was going to put some dots on, wasn't I? Do they have darker paws? I'm not sure. Mine does.
I think you can have all sorts of colour patterns.
Well, I don't think you can have all kinds of colour patterns on pugs.
Can you? They only come in.
No, I think you get black pugs and stuff, but I don't think they come in, like, loads of varieties.
Right, okay.
I don't think, but I could be wrong.
You could be wrong.
Sorry guys, I'm being noisy drinking again. I don't know if those paws look slightly different colours to each other. Okay. I'm going to go for some Tiffany. So we're back to our Saracino paste.
So what are you doing now?
A bow. It's having a bow.
Oh, okay.
I thought this colour went nice with the pink on the cup.
Okay.
If I can break it off again. It's pretty cold in here today, so this is pretty firm. So you might be waiting a while for me to knead it again. Sorry guys. Let's just nudge that to one side a second while we make a little bow for it.
You've been on there an hour and a half today.
Have I been an hour and a half?
You have been an hour and a half.
Are the people still actually watching?
We've got over 7,000 watching at the moment.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to put a little bit kind of on here so we get a flat area for me to stick the head on. Yeah. Although I think I'll probably still add like a cocktail stick anyway, just to make sure it's in there securely. Because this would sit really nicely on top of a cake, wouldn't it? And then it's the kind of thing that actually you can take off and just keep. It's a little ball, let's squish it. Let's pop it on there. So I'm giving it a little bit of pressure to hold it on, but I don't want to press so hard that... There we go, it kind of gives it a bit of a collar.
Don't bear with me, I'm just... you're on the wrong camera, there you
Oh, it's the wrong head, I thought it looked funny. Gives it a little bit of a collar. Which way should its head tilt? That way or that way?
No.
That way?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. So I'm going to need a little bit of a cocktail stick. I'm going to push it in here. I have to be careful because I don't want to crack my cup. I think that actually might have gone into the bottom of the cup, but I'm not sure. As in through to the saucer, but it's fine. Should be okay. I maybe could have left a tiny bit more than that sticking out. I'm going to put the bow on before the head goes on anyway. So a nice big bow.
If anybody that's new to watching us do Facebook Lives, This is like a one-off that we only put on yesterday. Well, we only decided yesterday.
Yeah, so we didn't really advertise it. Decided.
But we do our regular ones on every Tuesday at 10:30 UK time. So every Tuesday on this Facebook page, 10:30 is
in the morning.
In the morning, yes.
Yeah. AM. Just in case anybody thought you meant evening. Okay, let's do a nice big bow. I'm just going to keep it a solid bow. So we've got 2 round balls. I'm going to kind of squeeze them into kind of triangles, roughly. And then I'm just going to put a line at the top. I've literally got dust on everything. Press in the middle there. And then I'm going to stick this onto here. Some bit of water on that. Let's press that on there like that. Do the same with this side. So squeezing between 3 fingers, trying to get a rough triangle-ish shape. Put a little indentation in that. It just saves me rolling out thin pieces and doing them as you would a proper bow. Okay, so it's not quite as detailed, but it's a quicker way for me to do it. There's all different ways to do it. And just put the head in place so I can see if that bow is still looking okay or not, or whether I need to kind of angle the bow downwards or not. Sometimes I like it, you know, if the bow looks a little bit floppy. It's okay. Let's put some water in the middle. Can you see it from there?
Yeah, you're on both cameras at the moment.
Okay. I'm going to do a little oval. It's just going to squeeze kind of into the middle. And then let's put a little line on top and bottom. So it looks a little bit more like it's knotted. Then let's stick its head on and then we'll have a look at ears. So I can put some water on there. So we think tilting. Can you see it there?
Yeah, that's good.
I want it to stick quite near the back of the head, I think. Does it look alright there?
Yeah.
Give it a good squeeze on. Again, I like to put a bit of pressure on so that now everything's stuck together, but you don't want to put so much on that we crush the cup. I'll be able to tell in about half an hour whether that cup's going to stay up. So ideally let your cup set a couple of nights to dry before building into it. I built mine last night very quickly, the cup itself, and then the saucer I did this morning, so they're not as sturdy as they probably should be. Let's give it some little ears.
That does look good.
I should have put its bow on its head, really. Like, they have little ears that fold downwards, don't they, pugs? I don't know why I'm asking Richard. Richard thought they had triangular sticky up ears earlier.
No, I didn't. I said they're like Bruce's ears, but flap down.
No, he didn't say that.
Yeah, I did.
You said they're like Bruce's ears.
That flapped up, but flap down.
You didn't say that bit. Oh, come on, Brown. So this is what I get for leaving it out. It's starting to dry a little bit. So keep your paste in packs. Today and yesterday I've been really bad for just leaving stuff out, and I know that I shouldn't. I should keep everything back in the pack. So normally I put it in the packet and then I put it in like a tub, like that kind of tub, or the Saracino pot, so just stick it in there. Anything that's airtight to keep hold of it. I actually like it without ears. Are you putting the
other plug in as well then? Because I think you said you're putting 2 in.
I was gonna, but I don't. It's so ugly, that one. It's so ugly, I'm tempted to just leave it with just the one. Maybe I'll eat that one later because I like the flavour of the candy cane. Okay, I won't eat that one later. Richard's shaking his head at me. Okay. Almost done, guys. Almost done.
Wow. The wind's going crazy here.
I can just hear wheelie bins blowing around all over the place. Is it going to be cuter if it's got smaller ears or bigger ears? Smaller ears.
I'd have said bigger, but...
Would you?
You'll go with the opposite to what I say anyway. So I'll say smaller looks cuter.
Okay. Just going to go with a bit of an oval that we squished down. Let's cut it roughly in half. And then I was going to... Actually, I think I might need to go... Yeah, I'm going to have to...
Bring it a little bit closer in. That's it, perfect.
I'm going to have to do them slightly different. So we'll go pointy at one end. And then we'll lengthen them here because they're going to have to fold over a little bit, I think. Get rid of that point. So I'm rounding the point off a little bit. Actually, no, I'm going to put it back on again. Can't make up my mind, can I? terrible for these things. So indecisive. So we're folding it over a little bit. So if you imagine it sticks on the head, kind of like that. And then we're going to fold it that way, like that. I think. Let's see. You actually won't be able to see because my fingers are getting in the way. So I'm going to put a little bit of water on the back of here. And kind of the back of there. And then you can unfold them if you want while we're sticking them on. I'm going to press them on firmly. And then, I think that's actually somebody wheeling.
I was going to say that if you don't think
that's not blowing. Okay, and then,
that's nice.
Does it, I can't tell if I'm putting it in the same place or not on the other side. So pressing it on firmly. And then folding it over a little bit.
So a little bit more.
There we go. Ta-da! So that was this morning's Facebook Live, guys. Thank you. Are you putting me back on camera or not worrying about
I will
back
do
on camera?
just let me get this one on.
What does everyone think? That one I think is definitely cuter than the other one. So I'm going to go with, yeah. There's less work with the black pearls as well because on the white ones I was drawing on, and this is now a bit smudged because I've had it in my hands, but I was drawing the iris and the pupil on, which I managed to put on wonky. But like I say, I'm sure pugs do sometimes have wonky eyes and that they look in different directions and things, so I sometimes have wonky eyes.
You're on both cameras.
Quite often have wonky eyes and looking in different directions. Oops. Just be careful that you don't put the weight so far to one side that it topples.
It was in the other camera anyway.
Oh, was it? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, right. That's
So,
it.
like,
Leave
I
that.
think he's okay, but I might have to keep an eye on it to check that he's not going to lean because of all that weight. Like, I might even put...
Just a little bit toward that way. Yeah, perfect.
So I might have to just prop something like my cotton flower pouch just under there, just to check that the weight isn't going to kind of squish it down at that side. Yeah. So that's my pug in a mug. Technically, it's not a mug, is it? But,
pug in a cup.
Pug in a cup. Yeah. A teacup dog. One of those teacup dogs.
But yeah, no, it looks really good.
But yeah, thank you ever so much for joining us this morning, guys. The next Facebook Live is actually on Sunday on the Perfume Shops page, where I've got to make a birthday cake for them.
Yes.
Well, we'll be decorating a birthday cake. I won't actually be baking it.
So this Sunday, Perfume Shop online on their Facebook page, Zoe's making a perfume bottle birthday cake.
I think it's going to be laying on its side because we've got about 45 minutes to make it in, so time isn't going to be on my side. It's just going to have to be something fairly simple, but hopefully it'll still turn out nice. I hope. But yeah, thank you for joining us for this morning. This was our Macmillen coffee morning, and thank you ever so much to everyone that has donated the Facebook stars. So we get money for the Facebook stars. So what we're going to do is we're going to give that money to the Macmillen charity, Macmillan Cancer, and however much we get in stars, me and Richard will match that and put in the same amount of money again of our money. So thank you ever so much for joining us this morning, and it's very much appreciated. And enjoy your coffee mornings if you're having them elsewhere as well, or evenings, depending whereabouts you guys are.
There's a few people watching drinking wine, so they're on the alcohol already. So
they're probably enjoying that more than the tea and coffee mornings. But yeah, thank you ever so much, guys. And if you need any of this stuff that we used in the video as well, I think Emily has put links in as we've gone along, but she usually does Emily put a full list in somewhere as well. Yeah. It's difficult because I know it starts disappearing up the page and stuff. But yeah, Emily will put like a list in somewhere within this post of everything that we've used. Or you can just message me and ask. Yeah. But send us a private message because when there's so many comments under the videos, I don't always see them all. Yeah.
A couple of things.
Yeah.
Just to recap, on Tuesday mornings at 10:30, we do our Facebook Lives. Yeah. And what did you do out last night? Do you want to show people what you made last night in one of the classes?
Oh, this was in our basic figure class last night. So we did the witch last night. You can watch it back. If anybody hasn't got the basic figure class and you would like the basic figure class, it's in a private Facebook group. Again, I'll get Emily to put links on to all the information about it. So it was a class that we actually did a while ago. And then I did like a special edition, like add-on, like that went into the same group. So if you already had bought the basic figures class, this was kind of included in it anyway. And then I did this one last night. And then I'm going to do another Christmas version, which will also go in the basics figures class on the closer to Christmas. Yeah.
If you've got the Cute Winter Girl class,
I'm going to do a Christmas edition for that one as well.
Into the same group, yeah.
Into the Cute Winter Girl class, yeah.
Yeah, so lots there.
And then we're going to do the Day of the Dead class as well, which it's not very far away. We really
I've got to get all that finished.
So I need to get all the information online for you guys for that one, but that's the Day of the Dead class, which will be the next class that we run. Yeah. Right, anyway guys, I am going to let you get off. I've got lots more modelling chocolate to make today, and also I'd like to say thank you again to Calibre Chocolate. I know I haven't really used their stuff in the video, but they have sponsored me for doing my Cake International piece. I know Cake International's not on anymore, but I am still making my Cake International piece. So I need a lot of modelling chocolate for that, and they have very kindly provided all the chocolate so that I can make the modelling chocolate from it, if I don't eat all the chocolate that they've given me. Right, thanks again for watching, guys.